You can also send in those WhatsApp messages. We'll be attending to them in just a matter of moments. To some more headlines now. Let's look at what we have on the Punch newspaper this morning. And on Punch, interesting headlines for us to look at. First one here says Senate presidency dissent in APC. Aspirants demand fresh zoning formula. You'd find on the Punch. Another thing interesting. This one says subsidy. Buhari seeks approval of $800 million palliative loan. This would definitely get a lot of people talking, especially the fact that what I do not understand is why we'll get this amount of money and only some Nigerians will get it and the others would not get it. Like we have to feed the poorest of the poor. Aside the fact that people do not understand how we get the data, because the poorest of the poor don't have phones or bank accounts. They don't. So how we're going to get that data, and the fact that then only some Nigerians will benefit from that money in a country of over 200 million Nigerians. NNPC Limited needs huge investment to meet demand. Dangote. NNPC Limited needs huge investment to meet demand. Dangote. I have tried not to say anything about this refinery thing with the Dangote refinery and all the fact that even the government is hoping on the refinery that Dangote is bringing upstream soon, on stream soon. And we are collecting all these monies not to fix our own government refineries. There's a lot of questions, though. Count your teeth with your tongues. I wouldn't want to say much. Trouble looms over rising debt. Budget office warns. That's also a headline on the Punch. Trouble looms over rising debt. Budget office warns. You would find that on the Punch newspaper. Ex-power minister arrested over alleged 22 billion naira fraud. You begin to wonder what happened with the power sector. Ex-power minister arrested over alleged 22 billion naira fraud. Now, so far, so good. With the word alleged there means that they don't really have any facts to say clearly that he did it. It's still based on suspicion. So maybe the court will decide that and then we'll finalize whether or not he is guilty. But those are some of the headlines on the Punch this morning. Let's go to the phone lines now. 30 seconds as usual. You should remember this now. If you don't, for those who might be tuning in for the first time, please try not to make unsubstantiated claims. Go straight to the point. Do not use insulting words. Be very civil in your contribution. You can say anything on radio. It's just know how to say it. Know how to bend around the rules and say these things. Thank you very much. Let's go on to Rumomasi now. Temple is on the line. Good morning to you, Temple.
Good morning, my very distinguished Ifemi, and riding this morning, sir.
Fantastic. Good morning. Go on.
Yes, sir. I think I want to give kudos to Nigerian police for, I think, a swift intervention on the arrest of some of those alleged criminals at Umebli. I think it's a very good one. And I hope they will not be released within a twinkle of an eye. Because if they will continue to work with such an intelligent report, I think I will also applaud them to look into some of also the level of destruction here is part of intelligence reports that issues will not escalate in regarding the incessant destruction of farmlands of regard to belonging to Umechem people. I think that is another source of intelligence report in order to forestall breakdown of law and order. But I also want to appeal to the Senate. Please, they shouldn't approve this loan, telling me that they want to use it to cushion the effect of Nigeria. How do they get the account details of these vulnerable Nigerians? How have they been able to distinguish between the rich and the poor and the vulnerable, according to them? As far as I'm concerned, the government of Muhammad Buhari have barely 18 days. So who is going to repay this loan, and how are they sure this money will get to Nigerians? The persons that we need this money, for me, as far as I'm concerned, this money should not be approved because it's going to be shared among them first. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Temple. Ida is in Nkoro. Good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
Morning to you.
I want to thank the police and I want to plead with the youth to please look for something doing. As I am now, I'm doing something. I don't want to put my hand in anything. Andrew, if you come to Nkoro Kingdom, they are working. Most of them are doing fishing. Most of them are doing bricklayer work. Somebody said this in your station one afternoon like that. That bricklayer work is good too. We cannot wait for a white paper job. Do all those things so you go out from crime. Come to Bukun, they are working. So you should please leave all this internet fraud and everything, because the person you're doing that into is human being like you. You go and do person. Cause everything will follow you. Even the police narrative, cause will follow you. So the youth should please, even though if you see taxi, most graduates are driving taxi, look for something doing. Please. And President Muhammad Buhari, they should not give him that loan. No. Nobody is poor in Nigeria. They are eating every day. He wants to go out, he wants to borrow money. To go out our money. Not borrow
all right, Dad, thank you very much.
Find that money.
Thank you very much, Ida. I don't know if nobody is poor in Nigeria. I wouldn't agree. I don't know if I would agree with you on that one. Muriel is in Okrika. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Efemi.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Efemi, there's one thing I keep saying. I say until Nigeria makes Dangote the richest man in Africa, they will not rest. They are doing everything possible to make sure Dangote refinery succeeds, while they left us their own property and their children, all their children, moribund. Then trying as much as they can to make sure one of their child succeeds. It's unbelievable. And I keep saying that all of us are Nigerians. If you want to give money, give everybody. There are people that saw their money, they struggle before they become rich. So that does not mean they are not entitled to whatever comes out of Nigeria. So Nigeria should not only look at the poorest of the poor, they should give everybody. Look for all your children and bless them if you want to give them something. Don't just continue to favor those that are not necessary. Though we know everybody needs this money, absolutely. We need it no matter how small it is. Give all your children. Don't just locate few. Thank you, Efemi.
All right, thank you very much. Three good news on the line. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, my brother, man.
You're welcome. Good news.
Thank you. Good news. 15 local government areas in River State to face severe flood. My heart bleeds. My heart bleeds, my brother. The government of River State does not have sympathy for her people. Probably, if you ask me, I would say the reason why they are not looking into that is because not much money to benefit from it. When they give a award of billions, then the not much will belong to them. That is me. That's regarding to my talk. And why not knowing what has happening in the Orash area, for example, even Sobotophobia, that they should by now have counted how many persons who live in that area, taking full consensus, know how the place will be, relocate them, or start planning how to get an IDP area, if it's in the local government area, if it's to be somewhere different from it, so that they can talk about medicals. How many persons that will be taking care of medicals, ambulances, toiletries, and so many. And if possible, even schooling, because getting the part-time schooling for them, their pieces. Because if you take time, then look, the government is not doing anything. It's unfortunate. My name is Good News.
All right, good news. Thank you. Susie from Erema, good morning to you.
Andrew, good morning.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, the two voices that came from Eche, the clergyman and one of the community, both of them community leaders. Yes, I understand that our approach to vices in this part of the world has been reactionary, prayer points and all of that. But I want to agree with Kwasi Weredo, Professor Kwasi Weredo of Kanengana, who once said that if actually you want to attribute anything that is virtue to God, it will mean that man does not even understand that evil you are doing to somebody, if you are asked whether if you like that evil, whether you will agree with it. The first question now is ask any cultist or ask anybody who is fraudulent a question whether he would like somebody to kill him. They will tell you the answer is no, that they wouldn't want to die. That is to mean that he did not believe that God alone will be the Alpha and the Omega to change his mindset. So it is a responsibility that we owe ourselves to make sure that that thing that will make somebody to feel pain shouldn't be done to you. So even though while we are going to talk to them using the reactionary action of vigilante and praying and all of that, it is also important that we should understand all of these ones. That is it. And then to the people who are also claiming about what the government is doing in Rivers State about the employment in UV and all of that, we should be patient with processes. That is one very problem we have here. The government has started the process before they say it's not going to happen. We are raising eyebrow. We have misconception. But today the process has started, and we are still complaining. Human ones are insatiable. Thank you very much, Susie from the Rema community.
All right, Susie, thank you. I don't know. I think the complaints about the portal and all of that is something that the government should begin to look at. I feel questions should be asked. If those who are in charge of ensuring this employment is done before this administration runs out or leaves office, then they have to really step it up. If there are complaints about the portal and that we can't access the portal, we can't do what we need to do online, complaints about the tests, even the mock exams, they said same complaints, then questions should be asked, because monies must have been budgeted for the ICT experts to ensure that all is in place for people to be able to access these portals and take these exams. And if I've given you money for something and you have not delivered as you ought to, no, somebody has to explain. So I'm hoping that the government will take it seriously, as against looking at it as people just complaining or being political. Look at it and try to ensure that the problems are solved. I'm sure that those who are in charge could be listening, and that's what we need to do. If you're paying somebody to do something, they're not doing it well, ask them questions. If somebody needs to be punished, somebody should be punished, so people take the job. Mufasa, NTA Road, good morning.
Yeah, hi, Andrew. Good morning.
You're welcome.
Well, those who are in charge, I'm sure they are listening. But I will say that, you see, Andrew, wonders shall never end, okay? The story concerning the young man that went to look for a job in a chain, and after some time, he decided not to be interested in the job, and his friends decided to force him to, pick interest in that job. I think it's quite unfortunate. I think our young ones should be guided, because in as much as I know that the young man that was saying that his friend came to his house, ate his food and all of that, and after eating his food, he said he doesn't want to walk and all of that. So for me, I think we shouldn't be too desperate about these things. Now they've landed themselves in the police net. It's really pathetic. Yesterday, there was a protest in the Umbiama section of the East-West Road, and one of the leaders of that protest that was interviewed by your correspondent said that they got a signal from the Ministry of Works. I wonder the kind of signal that they get so frustrated and disaffection to the extent that they have to block the road before they will now rise to the occasion to do the needful. I want to appeal. This signal that they're giving the people shouldn't waste much time, because as I speak with you, the rains are coming. Andrew, you cannot even use your leg to pass through that road. It's that bad. Please, that signal should be attended to immediately, or otherwise, I would urge the people to remain on standby, because since this government
Mufasa, thank you very much.
to be asking this to before they will do their responsibility.
Point made, Mufasa. Thank you. Let's go to Rukwaku. Okay. Bright is on the line. Hello, Bright. Good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
Go on. Good morning.
Yeah, please. My knees on the ground. I want to beg Nigerian our senators, please, they should look careful. That money that our president is requesting, they should not approve that money. In the sense that how many days that remaining for him to go? All these poor people that our president has been, since he came on board, he has been spending money, borrowing money on poor people in Nigeria. How did he know the poor people? We have poor people around us, suffering, languishing. I've not seen anyone, I've not heard that they have benefited one day from this government of poor, honorable Nigerians. What is happening? Who will pour this money? How many days remaining for him to leave office? We are requesting for people a loan from World Bank. Please, Senate, shut up. Don't approve that money. Please, we can't continue like this. It's so annoying. My name is Bright. Thank you.
Okay, Bright. Thank you. Chimenem is in mile 3. Chimenem, good morning.
Good morning, Efemi. Yes, my name is Bright Chimenem. I want to react concerning the level of insecurity, particularly kidnapping. You see, the HA axis is now becoming a harbinger. Remember the last time a woman confessed how she was kidnapped along that HA area and was stripped naked and raped many times. I think, when the governor started with the neighborhood watch, they were trained at Noah. It was politics when some group of persons who that particular neighborhood watch was well legislated upon, but federal government scattered it out of sheer wickedness. Look at the consequence. Where you call Pretoria today in South Africa is being secured by the local militia police. And I think if we have a neighborhood police, that would have helped to complement the issue of police, because when you look at what is happening today in police, we have just few policemen. You have just one person policing about 40 persons. I wonder how that even will work anywhere. There is no country that does that. If you look at the number of policemen and how they are being underfunded, what is the spirit there? What is the motivation? You see, so when we are playing politics, we think we are playing we play to the gallery and we become an ostrich. Today, look at the level of insecurity today, not only in Rivers State, in Nigeria at large. Courtship of federal government, and those who thought that they were playing against Governor Wike. This is the consequence. On daily basis, it's like night calling Soweto. People are afraid of going out at night. And there are other missing persons. Not only, these are unreported cases. So for me, I want to call on federal government to see how we can have a local police, or what we call today the neighborhood.
All right, Chimenem, thank you very much. Let's get to Rumigbo now. Point made. JJ standing by. Rumigbo. Good morning, JJ.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
You're welcome.
Before I comment, I want to ask, are we not a funny people, Andrew? This question is born from the issue of Dangote telling us that the NNPC need to invest hugely to meet demand, Andrew. And now take it to 15 days to leave, the president is asking the Senate to approve $800 million for sharing. We need huge investment to meet demand, though. We need money, but president is asking for money for loans to share to people we don't even know. See, I am challenging the Senate president right now and all those in the Senate and those in Rivers State that have their people listening right now. If they can prove to me, JJ, and those that are listening right now, that they are not rubber stamp, they should not throw away that demand. For goodness sake, we should be reasonable now. We can't invest in refinery, we can't invest in anything, and at the end of the day, we have 18 days to go. You are borrowing 800 million naira. How to break it down just to share to people? Meanwhile, Dangote is telling us that we need to invest hugely. How do you put this together? I don't know. Police arresting some street light vandals. As far as I'm concerned, both the manhole, both all the holes and everything that has been missing in Port Harcourt, they should pay for it. They are the ones that are doing this, so they should be tried and they should pay for all these things.
All right, JJ, thank you very much. Let's go to Uche. Uche Ken, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Let me look at the job victim in Umebulu Eche. This is so sad. This is quite unfortunate. I asked a question this morning. Police operatives, are you still there? What are you waiting for? Has Eche not been on a bad list for police to intervene in all these nonsense stories on daily basis? This is becoming so severe and painful. Police, please go around all these houses to avoid further occurrence. It might not be your generation or siblings or relatives today. You can fall a victim yourself even tomorrow. All these menace should have an end. Please. Then finally, complaints about the employment. Please, the ICT should do enough to end up all these complaints. By the way, government has paid for all this. If system is bad, you don't expect people not to complain. Everything mustn't be politics. During JAMB exam last month, the system was a mess. Exams plotted to start by 12 p.m., started by 4 p.m., and people were complaining. Please, something should be done about it.
All right,
I
thank
am
you very
Mrs.
much,
Ucheken from
Ucheken.
Uche.
Thank you. Letambari from Boris on the line. Before we take Letambari, this headline from the Nation newspaper: APC pledges to revisit zoning amid lawmakers' protest. Another one here says tackling e-payment fraud with technology. CBN is also another headline you would see on the Nation. This one says. Tribunal dismisses another party's petition against Tinubu APC. Let's go to Bori. Letambari, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Ifeanyi Andrew.
You're welcome.
Yes, let me look at the Federal Executive Council approving 100 and something billion for going to clean up and other projects in the East West Road. Yeah, I want to say that I will commend the federal government for all their effort to ensure that the Ogoni project become reality. But I see that the federal government is on its own, having the interest of the Ogoni people. The Ogoni people who the federal government is having in mind too are not helping the federal government. You can see that only one person, one man on the board of trustees is having security that is spent over 20-something million in a month. How can that be? If you can see that place I told you about, the Excellency Center, the thing has started growing grass. So if you go there now, the place has started growing grass. Nothing has been done. No effort has been put in place already. But money keeps coming. Why are we like this? What fault does Ken Saruwa fault the Ogoni people that they are crucifying the man again for the third time?
Barry, thank you very much. But I think we should also understand approval doesn't necessarily mean release of fund. There's a difference in government. Approval is different. Release is another thing. You might have gotten the approval, but has the money been released? That's a whole different conversation altogether. So I think the fact that we hear that the government has approved this, so some people who might not see how the inner workings of government is, the government has approved this, has approved that, has approved this, proved that. Has it been released? Because it is only when you hear that it has been released, then you can now hold who it was released to accountable. At the moment, if it's just staying at approved could just be somebody has signed that, okay. But then has the money been released? So that's the next question we need to ask. Let's go to WhatsApp. Plenty of messages on WhatsApp. Okay, Facebook first. Facebook, it's Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Unwayanwu Obioma Noble says, kudos to police for arresting those internet fraudsters that are spawning in the name of Iche local government. If properly investigated, you would find out that those boys are not from Iche. Gina Stemizi says, good morning. Shock when I heard that Mr. President is demanding for another loan when he should be busy arranging his load to leave. Thank God Ability says, once Dangote Refinery starts operation, boom, our refineries will be a forgotten issue. That's the fear for many people. Clever Senate says, senators should not approve any loan request for president and his team. I don't like it. Alex says, Buhari seeks Senate approval for loan. Why won't he be borrowing a dime? Why would he be borrowing a dime minute? Buhari has never been our problem, but you see those people sitting in NAS approving everything without scrutiny. They are the real problem. Lorenzo Delight says, the rate of crime witnessed now in the States after the election, police arresting kidnappers and cyber fraudsters, good one. Hitches faced by applicants for the job is incredible. Is it that clippers are not sharp or the barbers don't know how to barb? Big question. Why is the federal government not taking issues concerning East West Road serious? Okay. Christian Williams on Facebook says, it's so unfortunate that this federal government is not tired of taking loans. How can a responsible government be seeking for a loan few days to leave office? And this was something that was said on the Punch newspaper. Trouble looms over rising debt. Budget office warns. Okay, just thought I'd read that again. Justice Ori says, I thank the police for intensifying efforts in the fight against criminality in the state, but arresting criminals is not the only way to fight insecurity. There should be plans to engage the teeming unemployed youths in the state. Aleru Spieth on Facebook says, it's very surprising to know that at this last minute our president is still borrowing. Well, It's for the poorest of the poor Nigerians. And the question is, how do we know the poorest of the poor? That's the, how do we arrive? Because I don't think the poorest of the poor have even Android phones, smartphones. I don't even know. I don't even have bank accounts, because to have a bank account means money goes through it. On WhatsApp, who is going to pay for all this borrowed money? The Nigerian government will pay. That's the answer. I don't need to stress it too much. Good morning. This one said, do you know that $800 million Buhari is asking the Senate to approve? It's 7K plus. That will be the amount for each of the 15 million poor individuals. What is wrong with our leaders? What will 7K plus do? You mean $7,000? I just wonder the kind of leaders we have. Another person says, the money that was given to PDP leaders was the money owned. Okay, that's not from us. Presidency, go ahead and give out this money, but let it go around to everyone. Those saying you shouldn't give out this money now are waiting for this money to be shared among at the party levels. We've won that from Rukboku. This person says, if we have Senate that is not rubber stamp, what a funny nation. Andy, how can a government request for a loan approval less than 15 days to go? Twitter, let's see some of your comments here on Twitter before we draw the curtain for this morning. And on Twitter, Nigeria Info PH, that's the handle on Twitter. This one here says, okay, at Kelechi Pascal says, Senate would be signing Nigerians if they approve the loan to the president. At Tuktu Amigo says, I just hope that the promise to engage the people by the Ministry of Work will not
for more talk,
beg your pardon, would not be a scam. Let's go for a commercial. Good morning.
We'll be right back after this.
Mikolo, my engine